The sun is disappearing. The temperature is falling. The plants that fed you through warmer months are dying back. And somewhere beyond the firelight, hungry predators are searching for food too. You have no heated house, no supermarket, no weather forecast telling you what tomorrow will bring. And when darkness arrives, the cold itself can kill you. For ancient humans expanding into colder, more seasonal environments, winter changed the rules of survival. Fire could keep them warm, but fire alone couldn't keep them alive. Because the real problem with winter wasn't just the cold, it was everything the cold took away. Imagine trying to sleep outside on a freezing night. Your body is constantly producing heat, but the air around you is stealing it. The ground beneath you is stealing it too. And wind makes the problem even worse. For a human with relatively little body hair, this can become dangerous surprisingly quickly.
So one of the most important weapons against winter wasn't something humans hunted with. It was fire. Earlier hominins were using fire long before our own species appeared, although archaeologists still debate exactly when controlled and habitual fire use became widespread. Whatever the precise timeline, once humans could reliably maintain fire, cold environments became easier to survive. A fire provided heat, it provided light, it could help cook food, and it transformed the darkness around a camp. But there was a problem. Fire eats too. It needs fuel.
And when the flames begin to shrink in the middle of a freezing night, somebody has to feed them. That meant surviving winter required more than making a fire. Humans had to create a small pocket of warmth and defend it from the cold. And that changed where they slept. A fire in an exposed landscape can only do so much. Wind carries heat away. Rain or snow can make conditions worse. And the human body continues losing heat from every exposed surface. So shelter became another layer of survival. Sometimes the landscape itself provided it. Caves and rock shelters could offer protection from wind and precipitation. But humans were not limited to caves. Archaeological sites also show that prehistoric people constructed shelters using materials available around them. Wood, branches, vegetation, animal hides, and in some later Ice Age contexts, even large bones. The goal wasn't to build a comfortable house. It was to change the environment immediately surrounding the body. Block the wind, stay dry, keep heat from escaping. And then humans added another barrier. They began carrying insulation with them.
Animal skins and hides could turn the body itself into a warmer microenvironment. Later archaeological evidence, including specialized tools such as bone needles, shows increasingly sophisticated fitted clothing. That mattered enormously. A loose hide can protect you. Clothing shaped around the body can protect you better. Humans didn't have to evolve thick fur every time they entered a colder environment. They could take the insulation from another animal and wear it. But even a warm human inside a shelter beside a fire still faced a much bigger problem. Because warmth doesn't matter if you starve. Winter transforms food. Plants become less productive. Some edible resources disappear beneath snow or frozen ground. Animals migrate. Others become harder to locate. And every journey outside the shelter costs energy. That creates a brutal equation. Your body needs calories to stay alive. Cold conditions can increase the energetic challenge. But obtaining those calories may now require traveling farther, hunting more effectively, or exploiting foods that remain available during the difficult season. Imagine a hunting party leaving camp. They may spend hours tracking an animal. Every step costs energy. Every hour away from shelter exposes them to the cold. And after all of that, the hunt can still fail. They return with nothing. Now the fire is still consuming wood. The humans are still consuming calories. And winter doesn't care that today's hunt failed. This is where survival becomes more than a battle against temperature. It becomes a battle against time.
Because the people who survived winter couldn't only react to hunger after it arrived. In many environments, they had to understand the landscape before the worst conditions began. Ancient humans didn't have calendars hanging on a wall, but they lived inside seasonal patterns. Animal movements, plant cycles, changing daylight, temperature, rainfall, the behavior of prey. These changes provided information, and information could become survival. Knowing where animals moved mattered. Knowing which foods remained available mattered. Knowing where to find fuel and shelter mattered. And in populations that practiced food preservation or storage, obtaining food during abundance could help buffer periods of scarcity. Drying, smoking, freezing, or otherwise preserving food became powerful strategies in different times and places. This represented an important shift in the survival problem.
The question was no longer only, can we find food today? It could also become, can we prepare for the days when we won't? But preparation created another problem. One human can gather wood. One human can watch a fire. One human can hunt. But one human cannot easily do all of those things at the same time. And winter punished mistakes. Imagine the camp again. Someone needs to maintain the fire. Someone may need to gather fuel. Others may hunt or forage. Children still need protection. Injured or sick group members may be unable to contribute in the same way. Tools need to be made and repaired. Knowledge needs to be remembered. Where is water? Where did the animals go? Which valley is protected from the wind? Where can fuel still be found? No single person has to solve every problem if the group can solve them together. This is one of humanity's greatest survival advantages: cooperation. Humans are extraordinarily social animals. Food can be shared. Knowledge can be transmitted.
Tasks can be divided. Children can learn from adults, and individuals who fail on one day may still survive because someone else succeeded. Consider hunting. One hunter fails, and that hunter may go hungry. But if several people cooperate and food is shared, the risk changes. Success becomes something the group can distribute. That doesn't mean prehistoric life was peaceful or perfectly equal. Humans competed, groups fought, resources could create conflict. But cooperation within social groups offered something enormously valuable: a buffer against individual failure. And winter created plenty of opportunities to fail: a missed hunt, an injury, a dying fire, a sudden storm. A child who cannot keep up. Survival increasingly depended not only on what one human knew, but on what humans could do together. So what actually allowed ancient humans to survive extreme seasonal cold? There wasn't one invention. Fire mattered. Shelter mattered. Clothing mattered. Tools mattered. Food strategies mattered. But none of them worked in isolation. Fire without fuel dies. Shelter without food becomes a place to starve. A skilled hunter can still return empty-handed. And knowledge disappears if nobody passes it on. The deeper advantage was that humans could combine solutions. They could observe a problem, change their behavior, build something, teach someone else, and cooperate.
Instead of waiting for evolution to slowly reshape the human body for every new environment, culture could change far faster. A child could be born into a cold world and inherit something more powerful than thicker fur. They could inherit knowledge: how to maintain fire, how to make clothing, where animals move, which materials make good shelter, which foods are dangerous, and what to do when the temperature begins to fall. That knowledge could pass from one generation to the next, and each generation didn't always have to begin from zero. Winter didn't create human cooperation, and it wasn't the single force that made humans intelligent or social. But harsh seasonal environments reveal why these abilities could be so powerful. Because winter rewards something unusual: preparation.
You survived tonight because you collected fuel earlier. You survive a failed hunt because food can be shared. You survived the wind because someone knew how to build a shelter. You survive a dangerous season because knowledge discovered by people before you didn't die with them. Humans weren't the strongest animals in the frozen landscape. They weren't the fastest, and they certainly weren't the warmest. But they could turn fire, animal skin, stone, wood, memory, and cooperation into something nature hadn't given them: a survivable world. And eventually, the human ability to prepare for scarcity would lead to something even more consequential. Because once people could produce and store food beyond their immediate needs, surviving scarcity was no longer the only question. A new question appeared. Who controlled the surplus? And that question would eventually help change human society forever.